Welcome to RMM Help. In this session we provide an overview of the Process Selected Jobs routine and Process Jobs option in RMM. A separate help video is available providing an overview of the features and benefits of the Process Multiple Selected Jobs routine, and we suggest viewing this in addition to this video. All the Process Multiple Selected Job videos contain a word of caution on this process, as while we can use the process to automatically enter data into empty work fields, the process will also overwrite any existing data, and this process can't be undone. So therefore we need to think about the impact of updating any chosen data fields, the impact that would have on any existing data. For this presentation, I'll simply select a couple of random jobs, just so that I can open the Process Selected Jobs form, which is available here in the Actions column. For this process, we would select the Process Jobs option, the radio button here in the Actions area, and as can be seen, there are several data fields here. These are all drop-down lists linked to our code files, and we can enter as many of those as we want. We also have down here in Work Details, this is a free format text memo field, and if we enter any text in there, that will appear on our job docket or on our mobile device. Now we can use this routine at any time, so it's quite useful if we've, say, omitted to enter any data items that might be required for, say, running reports. So we could filter for our missing data items, and then once we've selected those records, we could update them all globally. We can also run the Process Selected Job routines as many times as we want on the same set of data. In addition to globally updating missing data items, we can also use this routine to allocate or issue work, and optionally at the same time fill in any other data fields. Now, where there's a requirement to allocate work to multiple staff members, so here's our issued to drop-down list, and here we have these two radio buttons to be able to select a staff member and identify that staff member as either primary or secondary. So there are two considerations here. Firstly, if you do have a staff member identified as primary, that staff member will appear on both the summary work list and the detail work list in the issued to column, and it will also transfer onto a mobile device when that's synchronized. So that's what primary does. If we don't have primary ticked, so if we only allocate staff as secondary staff, that staff name won't appear on either of the work lists, and it won't get transferred onto a PDA. So we can run this process as often as we want to allocate as many secondary staff members as we want, and we can also allocate a primary staff member. So just to summarize at that point, using these radio buttons, we can add a primary staff member, we can add any number of secondary staff members, we can switch an existing secondary staff member to become a primary staff member, and we can switch a primary staff member to become a secondary staff member. However, if we did that, that wouldn't leave a primary staff member on the job, and therefore, as we said before, the issued to column won't be filled in our work data lists, or it won't get transferred onto a PDA. Now, if you don't use ResMan mobile working, then you can pretty much ignore the rest of this comment, because existing users of this facility, they currently use a mechanism which, once a primary staff member is selected, that job becomes available for electronic transmission to a mobile device. And then when it's received, it sends a message back to the ResMan system to set a date in the staff and hours tab on a work detail to say, this is the date this arrived on the PDA. And at that point, that job gets locked for editing. Now, we're currently going to be putting in place a new facility to replace that mechanism, and that's going to be called Release to PDA. And the new routine will give a lot more flexibility in allocating multiple staff. The Release to PDA routine will be on the Process Multiple Jobs form, this one we're looking at now, and the Work Detail form. And when the routine is run, this will update the date on the PDA, it will close either of the two forms where the option's on, and it'll lock the job for further editing until it's released by the primary staff member. So therefore, the date on PDA column effectively becomes the date it was released to the PDA. So this concludes the overview of the Process Selected Jobs routine and the Process Jobs option in ResMan.